I want to talk about what I know is on everyone's mind, which is what feels like a truly untamable anti-Semitism that we're seeing unfold. We're in Toronto. I don't need to tell you guys this, but 80% of all religiously motivated hate crimes since October 7th are against Jews, who are about less than 4% of your population. The Free Press published a big investigation which basically describes a 670% increase in anti-Semitic incidences in Canada, shooting at Jewish schools, synagogues firebombed, a synagogue vandalized 7 times in 1 year. I could bring up just as awful stats about the US, but we know them. My question is something I wrestle with a lot. I had the honor of speaking with a Holocaust survivor recently, and she said to me, you either can leave too early or too late, and I would suggest you leave early. But I care about America a lot in the way that I know the people in this room care about Canada a lot. And I wonder, there are days where I'm thinking, should I be making aliyah and raising my kids in a world where they're not scared to go to Jewish school? Or should we be fighting the fight at home? And I wonder how you, Haviv, think about that, looking at all of this from Israel.
We would love to have you, is how I get away from answering the question. Look, the Zionist movement made an argument before anybody else was making it. And it came out of a deep sociological analysis of European modernization and urbanization and the rise of nationalisms after the multi-ethnic empires all collapsed in the 19th century. And the Zionists said it is not an accident that all of this tremendous, unprecedented turmoil unseen in human history, all of this displacement, all of this new way of thinking about identity and being in a place is resulting in an unbelievable explosion of anti-Semitism to the point where it pervades every interaction a Jew can have with everybody around them, from the Russian steppes to Paris and Madrid. And this new Europe will turn on their Jews. And by the way, not just their Jews. The Zionist writers were talking about other minorities as well. And don't believe the veneer of parliamentarism and liberalism, and they're discovering the atom and the electron, and it's all the veneer. The truth is the murderous impulses. And so there's a catastrophe coming, Herzl said, and everything has to be, we have to desperately get out. And if you read Ben Gurion, I don't mean the quote mines on Twitter by the bigots, I mean actually read Ben Gurion richly over multiple pages, which obviously is too much to expect today. But still, if you were to do that or have someone read it to you, you will discover a man gripped by the desperate knowledge that something is coming. And then it happened. And it happened everywhere. And the only place it didn't happen was every place that spoke English. And so something about the English-speaking world broke the entire Zionist theory of the case. And I have theories of what that is. Radical Protestantism that led to a kind of individualism, including in the British case. The Americans are the extreme, but it's true of Australia. They can be deeply bigoted against Jews. They can pass laws preventing Jews from coming to America or Australia or Canada during the Holocaust. They can do terrible things, but they won't actually massacre or expel en masse their own Jews. That is not something the English-speaking world has ever been capable of. And so it always, the Anglophone liberal world always broke the mold. The Zionists were right about everybody except Canada. And so my real advice, look, we really could use you, okay? I don't care who you would vote for one of the good ones. But I'm just saying, my advice as someone who has visited Canada twice in his life is to fight for Canada. Because if a world in which Canada is no longer what the Canada that the Jews discovered, the Canada that didn't fall into the miasma of the 20th century, is a much, much darker world. There is a light shining from the English-speaking world that the Jewish experience clarifies very, very starkly. And the day that turns out, there are no more democracies. There is no more freedom, safety, or prosperity. that we have seen since the English-speaking world has become preeminent, and it has been the best period in all of human history. And so your task, for some reason, you happen to live here at a time when this place is struggling through that, is to fight for it.
Beautifully said.